Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Our top story this evening, the body of a Bradenton man is left lying in a public park for hours after suffering a heart attack. EMS unable to revive him.
His widow sat with an umbrella over his corpse, waiting for the funeral home to arrive. EMS leaving the scene before she even got there. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us live from Palma Sola Marina tonight, where this all happened. Jess, what can you tell us?
Jacqueline, Scott, the Palma Sola Marina is typically a very quiet, peaceful place. Neighbors come here to watch the manatees that frequent the waters. But on the morning of February 26th, this place was anything but peaceful.
This was just such a shock.
It started just like any other Monday morning would. Ty Ross took his two pride and joys, Jake and Holly, for a walk at the Palma Sola Marina.
I had gone to Pilates classes on Monday morning like I normally do and had said goodbye to Ty.
When Ty's wife Julie checked her phone after Pilates class, she found out her husband was dead. Ty suffered a heart attack while on his walk.
I came out and there was a deputy. The EMS had already left by then, and there he was just laying in the street.
As soon as she heard, Mary Hilliard rushed to the marina to be by her sister's side.
It's a day I'll never forget. There was a sheet over him, but his feet and lower ankles, that part, were in the street.
And as he laid there on the ground, his loyal companion stuck by his side.
The deputy said they had not run off, that they were on either side of him.
Immediately, they called Griffith Clyde Funeral Home, the owners close friends of the family. The funeral home was so busy that the owner himself, Ken Griffith, showed up to take Ty's body.
It was a pretty sad sight when you turn the corner and you see an individual in a lounge chair with an umbrella over their husband that's draped half on the road.
Neighbors had brought Julie a lounge chair while she waited and an umbrella to protect her beloved husband's body from the heat.
And they took him away, and we were all just kind of dazed.
The family couldn't believe that EMS would just leave Ty's body on the side of the road.
And I thought it was disrespectful.
The funeral home had never seen anything like it.
I was just surprised that she was put in that situation.
Both the family and the funeral home were told that that's just Manatee County EMS's protocol.
What if somebody died at the mall? Would they just leave them there? The reason I'm doing all this, or even telling my story, is I don't want it to happen to the next person.
All parties involved are now calling for Manatee County EMS to change the way these things are handled.
I just think that something needs to change policy-wise, that especially when somebody dies in public.
According to Manatee County EMS, that they stayed on the scene allegedly for an hour after Ty died. Now, according to Manatee County, there is no policy in place for how EMS should handle things like this when a person dies in a public place. However, after hearing Julie's story, Manatee County says that they do plan on creating a policy. Reporting live in Bradenton, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thanks, Jess. An update now on an investigation into a 2016 car crash that killed a 24-year-old Bradenton woman. Troopers say Mason Tyler Aliano made a left-hand turn on a red light at the intersection of State Road 64 and Lakewood Ranch Boulevard. Aliano's vehicle collided with another car, claiming the life of Ashley Amelia Shore in November of 2016. The now 20-year-old is charged with DUI, manslaughter, and vehicular homicide. He was arrested on Tuesday and booked in the Manatee County Jail, where he is being held on a $50,000 bond.
Immediately after the Parkland shooting, a huge push began for more safety in our schools. Tonight, the Sarasota County School Board has just voted to put in at least one off-duty police officer or deputy at every elementary school for the rest of the school year. This comes after an executive session earlier today to talk about law enforcement and mental health in schools. School District's Chief Operating Officer says there will be a total of 21 armed officers staffed for the entire school day.
I think what's important for parents to know is every single day, the single most important thing in the world to all of us is the safety of their children.
Board also deciding to allocate a total of $25 million for school safety issues.
Well, you can certainly tell it is spring break and, of course, a gorgeous day here on the Suncoast. Lots of people heading to the beach. Let's check in with First alert with our meteorologist, Steve Newman.
Jacqueline, Scott, I know, Scott, you're loving this weather because the air is dry. You can leave your windows open like we like to do this time of year. We certainly can't do that in summer. It's all because of cool air blowing in behind that nor'easter, which is winding down. I'll be telling you more about that later on in the newscast. But for us, not a cloud in the sky and not a drop of rain falling. They've got all the radar scopes fired up, but they're not finding anything on their full range. Currently at Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, the temperature 64, and look at the dew point, 39. And you know when the dew point is that low, it's going to be chilly tonight. These temperatures are going to fall like a stone through the evening hours because the humidity is so low, 40%. And those northwest winds at 17 will die down tonight, and with lighter winds, it allows the temperatures to drop even more quickly. Here's the planner for the evening hours, showing another cool night in store with temperatures dropping off very quickly through the 50s. 50 degrees by 5 a.m., but it could be as cold as 45 toward dawn. A complete forecast coming up, guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve. New developments out of Miami, where for the first time we are seeing video of last week's pedestrian bridge collapse that killed 6 people. Take a look. This is video from a dash cam as the car approaches the span just as it falls. That is actually the wrong video, so we will change that here in a second. Investigators are looking into cracks that were found just days before the bridge came down last week. They say that workers were adjusting tension on the 2 rods located on the north end of the span when it failed and collapsed. Construction of that bridge was behind schedule and millions of dollars over budget, in part because of a key change in the design of its main support tower.
Following that tragic bridge collapse, how are bridges on the Suncoast kept safe? The Florida Department of Transportation says they perform inspections to all state and county bridges every 2 years. Bridge professionals are planning to come together in Orlando in just a few weeks to learn more on bridge preservation. They'll discuss improvements in research, materials, design, and bridge specifications from April 8th to April 12th.
Some residents of Sarasota's Alta Vista neighborhood are fighting with Sarasota City Hall. As ABC 7's Ray Collins tells us, the neighbors are being told they have to change their addresses, but they say easier said than done.
I was very shocked.
Residents on Novus Place are not happy.
Why do we have to go through all these problems? Because of somebody down in City Hall.
A few weeks ago, they received this notice from Sarasota County Emergency Services saying they should start using Novus Street, not Novus Place.
Our address has been Novus Place since 1985. We never had a problem with any emergencies.
Yeah, that's it. The emergency responders say the road needs to come in line with the rest of Novus Street, which is what it's called on the other side of Tuttle. Gene's neighbor, Dennis Grau, says he thinks this is just some busy work the government is dropping on them.
I don't think they have any real reason to do it other than some people are trying to qualify their jobs.
So what will this mean for you? Any kind of expense?
Oh yeah, we figured out it'd be about $125, $130 for my wife and I to change registrations and driver's license and all that, plus the inconvenience of having to go down and do it.
The county said, well, just change it. It would be easy to change it.
Sarasota City Engineer Alex Davis Shaw says when the county first told them to change place to street, they checked the books and found out it never should have been named a place in the first place.
It's actually platted as a street. The property appraiser's office notes it as a street.
So how did it first get called a place then?
I don't have any idea.
Never should have been in the first place?
It never should have been in the first place. A place.
So now the neighbors want to get the street legally changed to place. What would that take?
That would require approval by the city commission to change our city codes.
And that's just what they plan to do. They're approaching Sarasota City Hall, petition in hand, and asking the city how to allow them to keep their street name. Dennis Grau says he hopes city commissioners don't forget who's in charge.
We're the taxpayers. We pay their expenses. We pay their salaries, and we can fire them.
In Sarasota, Ray Collins, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Sounds like a huge headache.
To have to change everything about your address? Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why lawmakers are still trying to reach a consensus on some form of gun legislation after years of debate.
And meteorologist Steve Newman will be back with your first alert forecast, plus how Time magazine is highlighting school safety issues with a powerful new cover.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new animal adventure.
It's a group mainly of volunteers. When a wild animal is in need of help, they come to the rescue. We're visiting the Wildlife Center of Venice, and these volunteers are doing it all. Their goal is to rehabilitate and then release animals back into the wild, and they're not afraid to go the distance.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Over the years, Congress has tried to pass some form of legislation on guns, but each time Washington has fallen short, even when it comes to bipartisan proposals.
So why has it been so hard for lawmakers to reach a consensus? And in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting, will it be any different this time around? Kristen Holmes has more from Washington.
With more than 2 decades since the last major gun control legislation was passed,
don't tell me this bill will not make a difference.
The issue remains one of the most polarizing in America.
Parents have sent their children to a place where they ended up not being safe.
We all have a Second Amendment right as Americans, if we choose to exercise it, to own a gun.
Making it nearly impossible for Congress to act, despite some bipartisan calls for action and years of mass shootings. 1999, 2 teenage students and a small arsenal. A massacre that left 12 students and 1 teacher dead. 2012, 20 children and 6 adults gunned down at an elementary school in Connecticut.
As a country, we have been through this too many times.
And 5 weeks ago, 17 people killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida by a former student, reigniting the gun debate in Washington and across the country. But so far, the path forward remains unclear.
Those who oppose gun control care so intensely, so deeply about it, that they will often be single-issue voters.
Some Democrats say the NRA's deep pockets and power are to blame,
Politicians are petrified by the National Rifle Association.
while some Republicans, including President Trump, largely oppose measures they say could violate the Second Amendment and want to arm and train some school officials.
It's concealed.
and I think it brings great safety.
After Newtown, Connecticut enacted some of the toughest gun laws in the country. Florida, referred to by some as the gun-shine state for its relaxed gun laws, passed sweeping gun reform earlier this month. But the Parkland students aren't giving up on national change. Descending on Washington with throngs of their supporters this weekend, calling on lawmakers to act.
If they can continue this and organize people for the November elections, it's possible that they can produce something in the next Congress.
Work together, come over your politics, and get something done.
Young survivors hoping to bridge the divide in the nation's capital over an issue that's split the country for decades. In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes.
And Time Magazine is highlighting the issue of school safety ahead of this weekend's March for Our Lives, featuring thousands of students from coast to coast. 5 students who survived the deadly Stoneman Douglas shooting are on the cover of the latest issue. The word "enough" is the caption, and it's also their message. The students have given dozens of interviews about gun violence since the shooting on February 14th. Today, students urged Congress to pass critical gun safety legislation ahead of Saturday's march.
A lot of people that are out there that are fearing what we're saying right now think that we're going to try taking their guns. We're not. The Never Gun movement and the March for Our Lives is not trying to take our guns. We're trying to take back our lives. And because just as much as you have a right to own a weapon, we have the right to liberty, we have the right to peace, and we have the right to live and not be afraid when we go to schools that we're going to be shot.
About 200 Parkland students will be in Washington for Saturday's march, but students from all over the country will rally in other cities, including here on the Suncoast, calling for change to gun laws and school safety measures.
Also in Washington, President Trump's personal legal team, the one handling the response to the Russia investigation, now without its lead lawyer. John Dowd has resigned. He said in a statement, quote, "I love the president and wish him well." Sources say his relationship with the president has been strained in recent days, both because of the hiring of attorney Joe DeGenova and because of pushback from comments Dowd made about special counsel Robert Mueller. Last week, Dowd suggested that Mueller should end his investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election. He initially claimed he was speaking for the president, but later said he was only speaking for himself.
All right, let's talk about our weather. And gosh, it's so gorgeous out there. When you don't see a cloud anywhere,
it's
blue
beautiful.
sky.
And the air is dry. Well, it's going to moisten up this weekend, but for those who are going to be outdoors on Saturday for the march, the weather should be very nice. No rain in sight for about a week. And if you're down here for spring break, look at the beach scene here from our Casey Key camp, showing the surf is definitely up if you've got your surfboard. But the water's a bit cool for us that live here year-round. But if you're visiting, you might be able to take it. Looking live over Sarasota Bay and the current temperatures, it is 64 degrees. But look at the dew point, 39 degrees, the humidity 40%. That dry air is going to allow temperatures to really fall quickly. When those winds calm down, and they will overnight, they'll get more like 5 to 10 instead of gusting over to 15 right now. Across the state, 69 at Pensacola, Panama City 66. Even Key West is cool with 69 degrees as that strong northerly flow is coming in from behind that nor'easter. Now, temperatures across the immediate viewing area, 62 at Longboat Key, 63 at Siesta. Go inland, a little bit warmer. I think the land is heating up, allowing temperatures to warm into the low 70s. We look at satellite as the sun starts to dim and the images get a little dimmer. You can see those cold air clouds up to the northeast of us, some down over the Gulf. But other than that, top to bottom, the Sunshine State is full of sunshine and no rain either, with radar sites not picking up one single drop. Now that nor'easter, which caused so much misery in the northeastern states, in fact all the way down to Washington, you can kind of see it winding up over Nova Scotia just to the west of Halifax, heading into New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. So that storm is pretty much over for the United States, but we have another one moving ashore in California that it's a mixed blessing. Because of the fires down around Santa Barbara, there's that awful danger of mudslides, but they also need the rain up in the Sierra Nevada because that's where they store the moisture in the form of snow for the summer months, because it doesn't rain generally in California during the summer. So that's a good news, bad news situation. Across the nation, the jet stream dipping down, which is why it's so cool even into the deep south. There goes that nor'easter, and here comes the front coming into California. It's not all that bitterly cold up north. It's 41 at Toronto, 44 at Chicago. Quite warm in the southwest with Phoenix coming in at 87. San Francisco, kind of a damp day with 55. Here are the weather headlines as we move into a weekend. Another cold or cool night ahead. 45, I think, qualifies as cool. Some folks think it's cold. Tomorrow, though, we'll start a weekend warming trend that will bring us into the upper 70s over the weekend, and it'll stay dry for about a week's time. Now here's the Futurecast showing all the elements in play. There goes the nor'easter that's bringing in those northeasterly winds. As the high pressure settles over us tomorrow, it'll be fair and mild. Then when the high moves offshore, it shifts our winds to a more southerly direction, bringing up warm air from the south, setting the stage for a great picture-perfect weekend. A little still rough out on the water, 2 to 4 feet tomorrow for seas with north-northeast winds 5 to 15. Bay and inland waters a moderate chop. That water temperature is 69, is a little cool, but the air temperature at the beach will be 71 for the spring breakers. Here's my forecast for tonight. It'll be clear and cool again with our low temperature 45. That's considerably cooler than normal. You don't get a chance to say that very often. And tomorrow's forecast, sunny and pleasant, high temperature 72. And now we have a 7-day outlook that's got, Jacqueline, it's pretty boring. We don't get a chance to have a boring 7-day like this very often. But a warming trend will set up on Saturday and Sunday, even warmer on Monday. We could get some rain, not Good Friday, but the day before Easter. We'll talk more about that later on. Scott Lorraine?
Okay, thank you, Steve. Let's check First Alert traffic now. We're seeing an accident on US 41 in Sarasota, Manatee County line area, right near the airport, and it is causing some backups in the northbound lane, slow going. But once you get past that, it turns green. Jacqueline?
Thanks, Scott. In health news tonight, isolated outbreaks of mumps are occurring across the nation, but are they becoming a little too common? With more, here's ABC's Stephanie Ramos.
The most recent mumps outbreak at a cheerleading competition in Texas. Why are we seeing an increase in a disease we have a vaccination for? Before 1967, there was no mumps vaccine, so anyone who's now over 65 probably went through the viral illness as a child, swollen cheeks and all. Nowadays, it's recommended that kids get 2 doses. The first at 12 to 15 months, another one before grade school. But epidemiologists at Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health now say we may all need a booster. They looked at the effectiveness of the MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella from 6 studies across the U.S. and Europe over the past decades. Their data shows a person on average is protected by the mumps vaccine for 27 years. Then it wears off. 1 in 4 people may lose protection 8 years after their last dose. 1 out of 2 may lose protection by age 19, and 3 out of 4 by age 38. Why worry? Older kids and adults can have more severe complications from mumps, meningitis, deafness, and even infertility. Military recruits receive an extra dose regardless of their vaccination history. A college campus had a 3rd dose campaign. Both of these groups were protected from outbreaks. Experts are pushing for a 3rd dose of MMR at age 18, and possibly even a booster for adults. Better an extra shot than a week of the mumps. With this Medical Minute, I'm Stephanie Ramos for ABC News.
Anemia is being linked to a higher risk of death in pregnant women, and the condition happens when a person has a very low red blood cell count. Pregnant women are more prone to the condition because they provide nutrients for their babies and themselves. A recent study established a relationship between severe anemia and maternal death. The results indicated that the odds of maternal death doubled in a mother with anemia when all other contributing factors were controlled. And the House passed a bill on Wednesday that gives terminally ill patients the ability to obtain drugs not approved by the FDA. The Right to Try bill allows dying patients to request drugs from manufacturers that have undergone small-scale clinical trials and are currently under FDA consideration. Democratic opponents say it jeopardizes patients' health because the drugs have only been tested for safety and not for effectiveness or side effects. Republican lawmakers and President Trump support the bill, saying the covered drugs are safe and terminally ill patients don't have time to wait years for FDA approval. Coming up, a suspect tries to bite a police dog, and the UK welcomes its first polar bear cub in 25 years. We'll have more on those stories when we come back.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere. everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
You know we love holidays. How could we not celebrate National Puppy Day? I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll do some cuddling and hear about a sweet rescue dog success story. Our movie guy brings us the don't miss spring movies headed to theaters, plus the summer blockbusters are getting here early. A Suncoast gallery showcases huge finds from the art world, and Kathy Barbosa's in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind Your Meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
Police are now releasing new video of a deadly self-driving Uber crash in Arizona. Take a look at the video captured by the Uber's dash cam. It shows the exterior view just moments before the crash. It also shows the inside of the vehicle and the person operating it before the collision. Video shows the SUV was traveling at 38 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Police are still investigating. A police canine bites a suspect, and then the suspect bites back.
Find out why this ultimately bites for the suspect. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A Wisconsin deputy's confrontation with a suspect turned surreal when the suspect tried to bite his canine partner.
Step out, please. Thank you.
It started when the deputy responded to a report of a man banging on a home's windows in Racine.
Don't rush at me.
The deputy repeatedly instructs the man to keep his distance.
Stay right there. Stay back.
But the man continues to advance on the deputy, who eventually releases the dog.
Get out of the ground! Stop fighting my dog! Stop fighting my dog!
During the struggle, police say the man tried to bite and choke the canine. The suspect was charged with striking a police animal and resisting arrest. Neither the canine nor the deputy were injured in the confrontation. It's not Thanksgiving, but one Maine family is giving thanks over a turkey, or a turkey incident anyway. After hearing a loud noise, Hannah Borden was surprised to find a wild turkey had crashed through a double-paned window. Hannah says not only did the turkey not appear to be hurt, it was admiring itself in a mirror. Police responded to the scene and captured the gobbler. They released it back into the wild and shared pictures of the incident on Facebook. And finally, this is the first polar bear cub to be born in the UK in 25 years. The cub took its first steps at the Highland Wildlife Park in Scotland, under the watchful eye of Mom, of course. The cub's gender won't be revealed until it gets a health check in the spring, which means the furry little tyke is currently unnamed. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, still to come on your Suncoast News, imagine being told you have to change your address. That's what's happening to some Sarasota residents, and they're not happy.
And spring training is wrapping up here on the Suncoast. We'll take a look at the attendance numbers this year and why they're down slightly.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been arrested in the state of Florida, the state attorney's office is already working on your prosecution. It's time to work on your defense. So give us a call. We've got your back.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. It's National Puppy Day. We have a sweet rescue success story to share. Plus, don't miss spring movies and Cafe Barboso.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.